It was supposed to be a routine multinational air combat simulation. Advanced jets, top-tier pilots, and coordinated missions between NATO allies. Among the aircraft involved were some of the most expensive and powerful war machines in existence. But in the middle of this high-tech sky war, one aircraft, the Swedish JAS 39 Gripen, did something that no one saw coming. As simulated missiles flew and radar systems locked on, the Gripen found itself targeted by an adversary jet, one that had superior speed, altitude, and radar reach. On paper, Gripen had no chance, but what happened next changed everything. In just 3 seconds, Gripen pulled off a move that stunned even the exercise supervisors. A sudden maneuver, a radar break, and a missile lock from an unexpected angle. It flipped the script, and just like that, the hunter became the hunted. But how did this happen? How could a single light fighter turn the tables in an airspace full of giants? Let's break down exactly what the Gripen did, moment by moment. In those critical 3 seconds, the Gripen's pilot was flying low, fast, and under pressure. A hostile aircraft locked on from above, preparing for a simulated missile shot. Gripen's radar warning receiver screamed. It was time to act. Step 1. Activate the electronic warfare suite. Gripen sent out digital noise, confusing the enemy's radar, just long enough to create an opening. Step 2. Maneuver. The jet suddenly pitched upward into a steep climb, then cut left in a high G roll. A maneuver few jets can handle without losing control. For a moment, barely 3 seconds, the Gripen vanished from enemy radar and visual range. That's all it needed. Using its helmet-mounted sight, the pilot locked onto the enemy with an IRIS-T infrared missile, which doesn't rely on radar. In the exercise, the kill was clean and instant. The pilot in the other jet reportedly never saw it coming. This wasn't luck. It was a combination of Gripen's agility, pilot visibility, data link awareness, and stealthy radar profile. But the real shock, the Gripen had done it against a jet considered superior. And as news of this incident spread, militaries across the globe began rethinking everything they thought they knew about air dominance. What Gripen did wasn't just a clever maneuver. It was a message. Military analysts from the US, UK, and Europe began dissecting the replay. Was it repeatable? Was it just simulation trickery? But all the data pointed to the same thing. Gripen had achieved a clean offensive kill in an impossible situation. Suddenly, Gripen was no longer seen as a budget jet. It was being viewed as a precision threat, a serious, tactical rival that didn't need stealth coatings or billion-dollar support systems. Countries like Brazil, which had already chosen Gripen, felt validated. Nations like India, Ukraine, and even Canada began revisiting offers on the table. Gripen was no longer just the cheaper alternative. It was now the smarter choice for modern warfare. And behind closed doors, one question echoed in briefing rooms worldwide. If Gripen can do this in 3 seconds during simulation, what could it do in real combat? But this event raised something even bigger. A larger truth about air combat in the 21st century. In modern warfare, it's not just about who has the most expensive jets. It's about who can make the smartest move at the right time. Gripen is designed for quick deployment, low maintenance, and networked warfare. It doesn't just fly fast, it thinks fast. With integrated battlefield awareness, advanced jamming, and superior pilot visibility, it punches far above its weight. That one maneuver was more than just a win in a simulated dogfight. It was proof that tactical design, rapid response, and digital warfare are now more important than pure speed or stealth. In just 3 seconds, the Gripen forced the world to reconsider its place in modern air combat. And now, every air force is watching. End! Air combat has come a long way from the days of warplane dogfights. Back then, victory depended on pilot instincts, visual spotting, and how tight your plane could turn. But today, battles are fought at supersonic speeds, beyond visual range, and often decided by computers and sensors. All within seconds. As fighter jets evolved, so did strategy. From Vietnam to the Gulf War, lessons were learned. Radar lock timing, electronic warfare, and missile reaction speeds. The world started favoring stealth and cost-heavy fifth-generation fighters like the F-22 and F-35. But not every nation could afford such jets. That's where Sweden took a different approach. Rather than chase stealth, they doubled down on smart design. Enter the JAS-39 Gripen, a fourth-generation multi-role fighter built to survive modern combat without breaking the bank. And in a simulation just a few years ago, the Gripen proved that even in the era of billion-dollar stealth fighters, 3 seconds of the right move could still win the war. Air combat has come a long way from the days of warplane dogfights. Back then, victory depended on pilot instincts, visual spotting, and how tight your plane could turn. But today, battles are fought at supersonic speeds, beyond visual range, and often decided by computers and sensors. All within seconds. As fighter jets evolved, so did strategy. From Vietnam to the Gulf War, lessons were learned. Radar lock timing, electronic warfare, and missile reaction speeds. The world started favoring stealth and cost-heavy fifth-generation fighters like the F-22 and F-35. But not every nation could afford such jets. That's where Sweden took a different approach. Rather than chase stealth, they doubled down on smart design. Enter the JAS-39 Gripen, a fourth-generation multi-role fighter built to survive modern combat without breaking the bank. And in a simulation just a few years ago, the Gripen proved that even in the era of billion-dollar stealth fighters, 3 seconds of the right move could still win the war. The Gripen wasn't built to dominate headlines. It was built to survive, strike, and adapt. Sweden designed it with specific goals: low operational cost, easy maintenance, and performance in difficult environments like icy runways or short highways. Unlike heavy fighters, Gripen has an incredibly small radar cross-section. Not because it's stealth-coated, but because of its shape and smart materials. Its electronic warfare system, the Barracuda, actively jams enemy radars while also feeding live data to the pilot in real time via the TIDLS data link. Most fighters require massive ground support to function. Gripen can be refueled, rearmed, and relaunched by 6 people in under 10 minutes. In wartime, that's a game changer. So when the Gripen was locked in that now famous simulation against a more advanced jet, it didn't rely on raw power. It relied on brains. The maneuver it performed, breaking radar lock, shifting position, and gaining a missile solution, all happened in just 3 seconds. Because Gripen was designed to process and act faster than the enemy. Gripen's 3-second triumph wasn't a fluke. This aircraft has already proven itself in exercises worldwide. In the UK's Joint Warrior drill, Gripens surprised Typhoons with their low detectability and quick strikes. In Thailand, Gripens regularly outperform MiG-29s. And in NATO's Arctic Challenge exercises, Swedish pilots flying Gripens scored simulated kills on even F-16s, often using speed, jamming, and superior awareness. That's why Brazil signed a $4.5 billion deal to develop Gripen E. India considered it during its MMRCA program. Finland tested it against the F-35. And now, with conflicts like Russia-Ukraine reshaping air power thinking, countries are looking not just for power, but survivability, reliability, and quick reaction time. Gripen's story is not about dominating with strength. It's about forcing the world to respect speed, precision, and real-time adaptability. Something even the best jets can struggle with under pressure. What Gripen did in 3 seconds was more than a maneuver. It was a message. Modern air combat is no longer about whose jet is the biggest, fastest, or most expensive. It's about information, who sees the enemy first, who reacts faster, who can strike before being struck. Gripen proved that even in a battlefield full of giants, intelligence and integration can turn the tide. This shift in thinking is critical. Defense budgets are tightening, global tensions are rising, and countries need fighters that can perform under pressure without draining billions. Gripen isn't just a Swedish success story. It's a global lesson in smart engineering. In the end, those 3 seconds may go down as one of the most important turning points in how the world defines air superiority. End.